into the first game. It's another best of 5, spawning down in the bottom left-hand side of the map. He's now a free agent, so any good teams should be looking to pick him up. It's FanTaSy.
And spawning in the top left, we have the blue Protoss player many people are here to see. It is Hurricane.
Indeed. Both these guys are still looking for teams, to my knowledge, so yeah, it would be cool to see them get picked up. But, I mean, they're still playing StarCraft at a very high level.
Yeah, it is strange to me how many players kind of stay teamless for as long as they do. High caliber quality guys, too.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it sort of changes, but, like, it's better in the Korean scene now than it used to be.
True.
Like, there was that time in which sort of Kespa exploded, and then teams started to go and pick up all the little pieces that remained. And then, slowly, there's not too many of those players still left around, so that's always awesome. But, yeah, Hurricane, I mean, he has been on Meliora Esports, and then FanTaSy was on Dead Pixels for a time when he came back, but both these guys they're still very good, and I imagine that they're going to keep competing, so.
Yeah, not like they're going to retire or anything. That'd be ridiculous.
Oh, look at this. FanTaSy being a little cheeky, by the way. Barracks in his base. Ooh. He's going to try and bait Hurricane into thinking that it's a proxy, but look at this. It's actually just in his main. Oh, is Hurricane going to scout it?
Check in.
Oh, he's not. This is so sick.
No, I think he's going to. I think he's got one more pass to make.
Oh, he does. Okay, that is so important.
It is. He knew. We got to check every nook and cranny in the base. It was a good mind trick attempt there by FanTaSy, but Hurricane,
and I mean, it had him.
I
mean, the Cyber Core started first, so.
Yeah.
I mean, now the interesting thing is, like, FanTaSy's definitely primed to go aggressively with this. So why didn't he proxy it? I mean, it's one of those mind game things, right? I mean, it's always better defensively to have buildings in your base, but we'll see what kind of aggression he goes for. I imagine we'll see a starport, maybe some mines. Just based because
it is very odd. Sorry, go ahead.
Because he wouldn't really like cyclones from this position, or he's making a cyclone. Is it just going to be cyclone marine, and then a medivac or something? Who knows?
So many options available in there.
Terrans like to keep us guessing these days.
Well, it's the Maru symptom, right? Maru's like, I'm going to use all of the units in my composition, and Terrans are like, oh, you can do that?
He's like, yeah, just make cyclones.
I like it.
But no, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see Hurricane coming in with the Adept. I mean, he may be able to pick off this Marine. We'll see. FanTaSy pulling it back, though, always good. The Adept can try and kill the depot, but that will take years. And the Marine actually outranges the Adept, so that's always nice. Now
we'll take 300 hits to take down a supply depot.
Something like that. I mean,
it's essentially forever.
Because what? It's like 7 damage a hit or something.
It's real bad. It's 10, but it's slow without resonating glaives.
Oh, is it 10 versus buildings? Who knows?
10 period, 22 versus light, weapon speed 161.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't hover over that sort of stuff with this overlay.
If you need that, I got it.
Oh, okay, awesome. But look at this. Hurricane sending a probe to the east. Maybe he's a little worried there was some sort of proxy, but it's actually just a bunch of Marines and Cyclones. So this is going to be a strong push at the front. And I'm not sure Hurricane's going to be ready for this. I mean, he saw that the building was in the main base of FanTaSy, but it's still a big commitment. Oh, look at this Adept blocking the Cyclones. Oh, that is so sick. And the Adept's going to get out too. He actually did a decent amount of damage to one of the Cyclones as well.
Pro strats, man. That was beautiful stuff.
And now the shield battery's going to get up, but Cyclones deal a lot of damage. We'll see. Marines unloading in the main base, but Cyclone's going to get pushed back. We'll see if the Marines can get anything. Hurricane's going to have to pull the probes, and he does. Oracle can't take on this many Marines by themselves, but some of the Marines spilling forward a little bit out of bounds there, and now FanTaSy going to have to lift up and get out. Oh, Hellion's coming on in. They're actually lining up some of these probes, though.
Oh, good hits there from the Hellions.
11 going down.
Lifting, though. 11 probes this early in the game is brutal.
Oh, the Marines dropping again. 13 adding up there. He's actually going to try and get out. There's the Phoenix there, but yeah, he should be able to. There's also a Liberator as well waiting around.
If that Oracle had thrown down Pulsar Beam... Oh, it doesn't have the energy to do it. Okay. So it could have gotten the medevac just because unloading Marines one by one when there's an Pulsar beaming overhead is just instant death to the Marines, but no energy on her.
Oh, this medevac needs to be careful. Oh, a bit of a miscontrol by FanTaSy. Oh,
dead.
The Phoenix can one-tap it. The Phoenix unload FanTaSy. Okay, he's going to unload, but he will lose the medevac, so
still dead.
That's a nice pick off by Hurricane. But now here goes in the Liberator for FanTaSy, and there's actually nothing in the main bases. Hurricane looks to be focused on a bit of a counterattack, dare I say, but now he's got to warp in and deal with this Liberator.
Oof. Ouch. Probes.
Oh, Cyclone's also locking onto this Oracle.
Oh, Oracle picked off. Didn't have much energy anyway, but...
And there's 4 Cyclones here, so FanTaSy's pretty safe, dare I say. One Stalker takes basically infinity time to kill a Liberator. Hurricane microing well, though, versus this Liberator, so it's not like he's going to lose his Stalker, but he's still taking a bit of mining damage. There's now a lot of Cyclones on the map for FanTaSy still, and he's still making Cyclones, actually.
Why not? Cyclone, good unit.
Getting out Stim while this is going on, but yeah, 3rd CC before any additional barracks, so he's being greedy in a way, but then he's also being crazy cheesy with all these Cyclones. Splitting them up as well is interesting. Maybe looking for some units out on the map, and he may find them.
Nope, too fast. Air units are zippy. Ooh, they're trapped! Oh, Revelation thrown down just to see where they are. We're going to hang out in no man's land here.
Yeah, may as well.
Phoenix and Oracle, friends forever. Widow Mine's in production now for FanTaSy as well. Getting Stim, getting +1 attack. And Twilight Council just about complete here for Hurricane. And a 3rd base warping in for Hurricane here too. So boy, he's really going for the macros.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, now there's still all these Cyclones. So FanTaSy, I think, is definitely ahead. Just those Hellion run-bys, that was just a bit too much damage. And he's actually moving out with a ton of Widow Mines, some Marines, and Cyclones. This is actually such a scary ragtag push, but I'm not sure Hurricane's going to be able to deal with it. Just look at the army supply. I mean,
that's nothing.
There's 4 mines that are going to be able to waddle forward just onto this army. And so the Nexus is dead at least, I think.
I don't think the Stalkers can save it. Guardian Shield is up. Additional Stalkers are showing up.
There's one burrow. That's at least one dead unit. Probes are going to be pulled into this, which is very nice.
Nexus.
Love to see this from Hurricane, but Nexus goes bye-bye. That wasn't a cancel either.
Nope, it's totally dead. Pylon going to die here as well. Wouldn't mind burrowing on in. 3rd base completely out. Stalker count a little bit scarier. We got the Phoenix and the Oracle here now. And I think FanTaSy considers that a job well done. 3rd base punished. Let's go home.
Oh, yeah, and he's getting Biowat back on his side of the map, getting +1. Finally getting up some more barracks. He's heading into that 5 racks, 3rd CC. So he's in a tremendous spot from here on out.
Widow Mine picked off, trying to retreat. They really can't move very fast with their little stubby legs, can they?
Yeah, they're so fun to watch, though. Oh, Phoenix lifts the mine. But...
And Stalkers finish it off. Unnecessary lift, I think, there, but whatever.
Just a bit, but you never know. Yeah. Your Phoenix like to feel useful.
Exactly. And they are useful, but as the game goes on, kind of less so. All right, so 3rd base going to land here for FanTaSy. Revelation tossed down on FanTaSy's army. Blink just about done for Hurricane. Robotics coming up as well. Knocking down them rocks is the Terran player. Oracle trying to sneak on in and get some stuff done inside the main base. Revelation to this point is basically its main job, because missile turrets kind of make it hard to do anything else. Yeah, so both players just playing defensively, sitting on their 3-base economy. 3rd Nexus now warping in for Hurricane quite nicely. Beginning a robotics support bay. Robotics bay.
You're not the only one who has that happen. Just it's like robotics facility, robotics bay. Who knows?
Yeah. So it is the bay, which means we're going to see either Colossus or Disruptor. I have to imagine there's really no reason to get that build.
I mean, Disruptor is the behind unit, but Colossus are still very good if you can stabilize with them. So we'll see. I mean, there's no mistake that Hurricane's behind. Oh, Adept's going to get into the natural, which is nice.
It is very nice. Going to go after these SEVs.
And these are +1 Adepts, so they do 2-shot them.
Ooh, yeah. That's so nice.
He's getting so nice. 7. Okay, so this is nice for Hurricane. It definitely paid off there. Getting 10 in total.
Wow, coming back in a little bit earlier were those SCVs.
Oh, he did go for a bit of an attack, though, when he recalls. Burned a lot of sentry energy. Took a bit of damage, but he kept his army alive. He's taking a 4th base, which is pretty ambitious here, I think.
Absolutely. His army, it's 107 to 150 supply, and he's taking a fourth base.
Yeah, versus Terran, that is not a supply count you want to... I mean, FanTaSy has some supply in these Cyclones, but he's still got a lot of bio. However, double Disruptor could be on the way here. And Disruptors are the comeback unit. Good versus Mines, good versus... And I mean, this isn't the most microable army here. It's going to be engaging into a concave.
Trying to get those Widow Mines on up, but
here's that ball.
Fire down.
Gonna pick off the one mine for now, but FanTaSy knows there's a Disruptor. He's gonna actually just stim forward. This is so ballsy from FanTaSy, but I mean, if you can make it work, I mean, just Mine's gonna be getting set up. Disruptor or Stalker's gonna have to blink to deal with him. Good dealing with that is Hurricane, and now FanTaSy's army is a little bit split up, but he's just gonna right-click on a Nexus there.
No.
Eats some mine shots. Looks like he will get the Nexus.
He does.
Get on
Nexus
out of there.
Ends up falling, gets the heck on out. Disruptor gets some decent hits down, but it's still 148 to 129
nice blink
supply.
by Hurricane there.
Very nice. Marauder's a little bit slow, getting chased down from behind here. Look at these blinks forward, man.
Yeah, Hurricane, I mean,
out of that.
He's doing very good with his army. The Disruptors completely changed the dynamic of the Protoss army, but maybe gets a little bit too aggressive there with this blink. There's a lot of bio here for FanTaSy. I think Hurricane may have overstepped a little bit. Good split by FanTaSy. Actually, one of the Disruptors went down there, and now... Oh, wouldn't mind hitting another. Oh, Disruption Nova a little bit too early there for FanTaSy, or for Hurricane, pardon me. So now FanTaSy, I think that looked a little bit skeptical, or a little bit worrisome of him, throwing away that chunk of army, but, I mean, he got the Nexus, but Hurricane did start at 4th, which was very nice for him. The fact that he had that to fall back onto, but... And we'll see. It's still really going to come down to the Disruptors, I think, this game.
Another Widow Mine picked off there. Nice Nova. Big hit there. Dodge. Ooh, not as dodged as well.
Oh man, these Disruptors. Stalker's a little bit too far forward, eating a mine shot.
Oh, dodge. Blink there. Dodge there on the Widow Mine. Another Nova takes out a Widow Mine quite nicely, but a 4th base under construction here.
Oh man, look at this drop
for FanTaSy.
For FanTaSy.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Hurricane, he will see it with an Observer, which is very nice for him, but FanTaSy scanning. Oh, is he just going to boost into the main base, or is he going to unload there? Hurricane's trying to cover both of his bases. Stalkers to the main base, but this is 4 Medivacs. You need more than just Stalkers to deal with this. A few Disruptors are coming in, but FanTaSy, I mean, the way Medivacs unload, he should be able to split up his army. He's got to be paying attention.
Oh,
he does.
Decent
There's
hit.
one more
3
Disruptor.
Marines down.
Oh, he's just got to be so careful.
Look at him target firing down these Stalkers.
Oh, he's got to load
so
up.
hard.
Oh, that was close, but now he just unloads at the 4th base. Yeah, gonna get some good damage done there. Is he gonna focus down the Nexus or focus down the workers? He's also hitting at the 3rd base, but there's Zealots and the Disruptor to force us back, but these mines are really gonna kill off those Zealots, and now Hurricane's kind of being pulled apart here. FanTaSy gonna kill off the 4th base, hitting the 3rd base again.
This is such terrible multi-pronged harass. The 4th base does end up falling. The 3rd base is taking some severe damage as well. FanTaSy bringing some units in as a rally, I think, but they're just all going to die to Novas.
Yeah, that was a nice pick off for Hurricane to realize that.
Hurricane's got to deal with another drop inside the main base.
Oh, recall, but...
forces the recall.
Oh, these Disruptors are actually exposed to FanTaSy. Just unloads on them. That'll be good for him. Oh, he needs to be paying attention, though. Oh, the Disruptors!
Just eat the Novas!
Yeah, that's not a healthy diet, eating Purification Novas like FanTaSy's doing. Now, I mean, the 3rd base has gone down. The 4th base is gone. So it's looking pretty rough for Hurricane, but I never want to say there's no chance when you have Disruptors. And he's also going into double Colossus, but he doesn't have extended Thermal Lance.
No, which is going to be a problem. There's a lot of Marauders, too. Marauders do really well against Colossus. If it was a Marine-heavy composition, problematic for sure. Yeah, just the
dropping the
back
main.
Inside the main. Nice big
the
warping
Zealot
of
warping
Zealots.
is pretty much all of Hurricane's money, though. And now these Zealots are just going to be thinned out. FanTaSy, I mean, he's just doing so well microing this, and then he's got this massive blob, which is just going to move on in to kill Hurricane from the looks of it.
Yeah, it's 180 to 100 supply. There's really no coming back from this if you're Hurricane at all.
Yeah, he's a dead nerd. What else can you say? GG. FanTaSy takes it. Did Solar win? Unfortunately for Solar, he did not Fubster, pardon me. Kira 3-0'd him. Alrighty, so we're going to load on into the next game.
Yeah, we're ready to go.
Next map will be Acid Plant, and I mean, Hurricane, he took so much damage there, but he was playing like a nice style. I mean, if he was doing that off of an equal economy, then I think he'd be doing very well. I mean, that's a pretty big what if, but we'll see how he's going to do in the next game.
That's why we're here. Their 1-0 is not insurmountable by any stretch. He got some really great disruptor hits off too. It just wasn't enough.
Oh, he did, yeah. FanTaSy just had a pretty big lead.
Yep. Couldn't quite get it done. Really had nothing to deal with the drops. There were no Phoenixes, nothing to get rid of the Medivacs as they're flying around, dropping inside the main while they're attacking at the fourth base. Multi-pronged harass. Really the Terran's bread and butter. If you can do it well, you're going to win games, and FanTaSy was doing it as good as anybody in the world at this point. That was fantastic.
Yeah, FanTaSy has been dropping a long time. Whereas Hurricane, he's fairly new to the scene, is he not? I don't want to say super new, but like as far as up and coming, he's pretty new.
He is. Let's take a look. I'm going to look at his Liquipedia page while you're getting things organized there.
Alrighty, well, I think we're actually ready to load on in here.
Yeah, it looks like he officially signed with his first team in 2013. So
okay, that's relatively new in StarCraft terms.
It is. It is. But yeah, basically been around for most of Legacy of the Void.
I can't remember. Did he try to qualify for the Super Tournament? That's something I want to look up later.
You cut out there a little bit.
Oh.
Try to qualify for
the Super Tournament.
I don't see anything on Liquipedia about it.
Yeah, no, yeah, the brackets would have to be checked. But anyway, spawning up in the top left-hand side of the map, he's currently up 1-0. Moving out with a proxy as well, it's FanTaSy.
Oh, snap, we're missing stuff. Right. And then in the bottom right, teamless, but looking pretty good, is the Blue Protoss player Hurricane.
Isn't it the worst when pros proxy? I mean, you like to go off on random tangents, but they're like, no, I got something you got to talk about. What's with pros in these gold bases for proxies, by the way?
I don't know. It's kind of fun, though.
It is. Is Hurricane going to scout it, though? Probe is... I mean, he went just right across the map last time.
That is not a probe looking for proxies. That is a probe. Oh, just kidding. Took a hard right turn. Proved me wrong.
Alrighty.
But not going to find it. Took the wrong direction.
There's the double gas. And now it's not going to be a fake, well, a somewhat fake out like the last game, because this proxy is actually, or this rush is actually a proxy, as opposed to the last one, which was a fake out.
All right, so the probe says, I've seen this story before.
Acid Plant, not as much space in the base to hide stuff. Although sometimes Terrans do hide buildings at their natural. And Hurricane's going to check that.
Infinite places to hide buildings if you're a Terran.
This is true. Alright, FanTaSy also making that Marine.
Yeah, immediate Zealot out for Hurricane. Probe just scouting to see. Maybe it's just really delayed. Maybe the barracks is here. It's going to come up here, but no. Zealot here just to defend against whatever the heck shows up, which, I mean, Zealot's not really great against anything that could possibly show up here. He's just here to kind of meat shield for other stuff.
Yeah, Zealots without charge are not great.
No. I mean, they're great against Zerglings.
Are they, though?
Well, they trade well. I mean, depends on the micro, but I'm just saying, against Marines and Cyclones and stuff, they're horrible. They do nothing.
What they're facing here, nothing good.
Exactly.
They're a glorified buffer. They're on the same class as probes when it comes to holding a proxy.
Correct. SCV comes in for the scout, gets a perfect scout off. Everything is here, except for that robotics facility. Haha, didn't see that.
That's the Protoss thing. You're cheesing me. I guess I'll make Immortals. Those are pretty good versus most things. So, double Cyclone moving up for FanTaSy. I'm not sure where he's putting those. Looking for something? I don't know, but
yeah, that was
he's
weird.
going to have a good number of Cyclones. But the fact that Hurricane, I mean, he's already getting up a shield battery. I was playing a PVT. I scouted the Terran proxy, and I thought, right, I'll throw up a shield battery, but mine was too late, and I died. But Hurricane's is going to be right on time. Zealot doing its job being a buffer. Hurricane actually trying to focus down a Cyclone. Not going to kill one, but he's getting good damage done. And then another Stalker coming in. Going to help out a ton. I mean, Cyclones, while they deal a ton of damage, they can be out-microed.
They can be. They don't have great acceleration or great top speed necessarily.
Oh, missed micro by Hurricane, loses another Stalker. Oh, that's rough. He's now pulling probes to his natural, I guess, maybe getting ready for this hold. He's going to have... I mean, the Zealot's still alive somehow. The shield battery going to be expending its energy, but FanTaSy coming in here with 4 Medivacs. Or, well, 4 Cyclones, not 4 Medivacs, pardon me. Now, this Natural's in trouble. The Immortal, I mean, Immortals are pretty darn good, but if you have a dead Natural, it doesn't feel as good killing off Cyclones, and this is the follow-up push that I love to see from FanTaSy. Widowmines coming in, probes pulled, then there's Widowmines. Oh, Widowmines, what are they going to connect with?
Oh, good
bait
micro.
by Hurricane, but
yeah.
This Immortal, it's kind of trapped here.
The SCV's trying to repair, but the Cyclones keep moving.
The mine's just running into that Immortal's face. The Immortal stays alive. FanTaSy says, wait a minute.
SCV's chasing it down.
But the production tab is not looking good here for the Protoss player. Stalker warping in, but there's not another Immortal on the way for Hurricane. I think he definitely needs to start one, I guess.
Look at these Widowmines just walking into the the mineral line. Oop, Stalker down.
Oh my god, FanTaSy just being such a menace here. Meanwhile, the Natural is dying. Oh god, those probes. No! 3 going down. Okay, that's manageable. But look at the supply count. It's just not too good here. Another Immortal starting, but I think that's a little bit too late. Oh, the scan picks off the Observer.
The Observer! Well done. What a play. Look at this. FanTaSy's like, I was going to go home. That was good.
Yeah, I liked that. And then he'll just, hey, maybe I'll send in some Hellions later, he says, as he parks them at the 3rd base.
Resources lost. 1,300 lost for FanTaSy, but 2,300 lost for Hurricane. That hurts. That hurts immensely. Natural base coming up.
Oh, that Immortal. Gonna tank the Widowmine, but... So that gets cleaned up. Hurricane starts as natural. But I mean, his tech-wise, it's not looking too good for the Protoss player. And here comes in that Banshee, and it's gonna have Cloak. And the Observer was killed. Or there's another Observer, but is heading across the map. One more is building, though, which is good for FanTaSy, but he's pulled back his Banshee. Maybe he's waiting for a second or something? I think he is.
Cloak's about 10 seconds away from completing, so that's probably what's going on.
Oh, okay.
Raven coming in here, too, for FanTaSy. I do love to see the Raven in the Terran composition. Anti-armor missiles, good. Detection is good. Auto turret, also a good spell. All right, Cloak's done. Banshee, waiting for second Banshee is what it is.
Oh, here's some Hellions getting into the natural. I mean, probes aren't even really mining there because it's not done.
A little bit early to the party, guys.
But these 2 Banshees are there, and is there an Observer? There's no Observer in the main base. There is one at the natural and one in FanTaSy's base. And now here comes in the Banshees. I mean, they're pre-cloaking, so Hurricane's not going to know till probes start dying. And pop, probes are going to start falling. FanTaSy with good Banshee micro, like the previous, or, pardon me, never mind. Anyway, probes are going to start dying.
It's good. 10 probes down. The Observer slowly floating over this way.
Yeah, that's a flashback to Cure versus Solar. And the Banshees, I mean, they can come in again. Hurricane's out of position. Doesn't matter. GG. FanTaSy with the 2-0 lead. And we could be having Cure versus FanTaSy at TvT.
Oof, that's a lot of fun. I'm on board with that.
I don't know how long it's been since we had a TvT in Afreeca World. It's been a while.
Feel like it's been a while?
You can't quote me on that. There may have been... Probably would have been a Europe one when we last had the TvT. I want to say. Because Solar's won pretty much every one.
Yeah. But man, Cure took care of that real fast, huh?
He did. Yeah, this I mean, new champion's gonna... Wait, yeah. Hurricane FanTaSy. Keen won 1. So yeah, the only remaining champion in this tournament that has won an Afreeca World is Keen, and he won 1 before Solar dethroned him. But the next map is going to be Lost and Found, so we'll load on into that. Thanks to everyone for tuning on into this event.
Yeah, it's been a good time. Really enjoyed chatting with you guys a little bit here. Casting with LaughNgamez again. Some really incredible games here. I'm happy to be casting more Korean stuff for sure. Definitely not most of what I cast, but
Yeah, I know you do like a fair variety on your channel,
Mm-hmm.
all sorts of games and stuff, and you can check out Falcon Paladin on YouTube. I mean, the links are selected in the chat there, and you can also check out
And,
my YouTube, and we both have Twitter and whatnot. So, yeah,
and all the links work now.
they do indeed.
So that's good. Yep.
And yeah, so we'll see. But it's also important to note that there's going to be another tournament tomorrow, and we both do a fair bit of casting, so it is good to follow us on Twitter and whatnot and see more StarCraft casting. But we will be here casting tomorrow at the same time.
Yeah, same channel, same time, some of the same players. It's gonna be very familiar.
And we should be starting on time tomorrow as well, since there's no Leenock to hold up the show.
No promises.
No promises, yeah. No, I never said promises. No pinkies.
Just a should. We give you a should.
Okay. Should.
Should.
Okay. Now we're waiting on one of the other casters, and then it looks like we're ready to go. Both these guys are, so we're going to load on in. I'm curious, when was the last TvT in Afreeca World?
Let's check the archives.
It's been a while. I almost felt bad for so many Terrans in this event, but after checking how long it's been since we had a TvT, I do not. Alright, but more important things, we're loading on into this game. It's a best of 5, like all the other matches. And spawning up the top right-hand side of the map, it's FanTaSy, the Korean Terran, quite a legend in the StarCraft scene.
And we can see why today. But then spawning in the bottom left, it's the blue Protoss player Hurricane.
Alright. Now our Hurricane's got a bit of a hill to climb, but I mean, FanTaSy has been aggressive. He's sort of caught Hurricane off guard. He's played that I mean, when people talk about the current TvP meta, FanTaSy's playing it, right?
Yeah. He is a fantastic example of what it's all about. So far, so good from him. Really, no complaints. We have a forward barracks being constructed by FanTaSy. He wants to win this thing now.
He does indeed. Now, is Hurricane going to scout this out? He's actually looking for proxies this time. Oh, and he's not rallied to see it, but players tend to change their rallies all the time. They're like,
yeah,
maybe
depending
it's
on what
here,
they see.
maybe it's there, and oh, I mean, his probe's moving close, but it looks like he's going to be heading to the main. Just missing it there.
That would have been huge for Hurricane. He needed it, and he didn't get it.
I feel as
So
if
once
the
again,
meta
we
for
play the
Protoss,
game-
soon it's literally just going to be always open Cybercore first. Just with things like this.
Yeah, just every single game, no matter what. Now, here's the game of, all right, is he somewhere inside the main? Gotta do some checking, I guess. No, nothing over here.
He's also
just a lot of
checking out at his
gray.
third.
He is.
He's pulled in another guy.
So frustrating to scout and just fail at finding what you're trying to find. So Proxy Reaper going to get there a little bit earlier than Hurricane expects it to. Cybercore is just about done.
Yeah, there will be that Zealot out in order to sort of, you know, just shoo the Reaper away. Not, he does have to chase after it awkwardly, but it is tough to try and get kills while the Zealot is chasing it, but FanTaSy comes on in. He's going to start focusing down a probe. He may be able to get one, and it looks like, oh, good micro by Hurricane.
Nice. Very beautiful. Zealot just like, come back. Come back.
Zealot's getting his cardio for the day.
Just jogging, though. Just jogging. Just
Yeah,
taking
why
his time.
are Zealots so slow?
I mean, everything that's got 2 legs is pretty slow unless they have some kind of an upgrade, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
2 legs just aren't fast. That's what it. That's all it is.
Okay.
Sorry, humans.
Oh, probe going down.
Nice. Proxy
Scout.
Starport follow-up for FanTaSy because why not at this
Oh,
point?
where's this probe for Hurricane going? He's scouting out for more proxies. Because he never saw where the actual barracks was, but that's long since floated home. And now, where's... Oh, he's rallied to go, like, right underneath it with that probe. He's clicked into the corner there. Oh, man. Poor Hurricane. And now we're seeing the Reaper get into the main base. 2 probes have died so far, making that 3. At least the Reaper will go down, which is a bit of a consolation prize.
Does
And
slow
look at
it
this
down a
probe.
little
It's literally the FanTaSy is seeing this and laughing, or he doesn't actually see it because of that blocker, but he would have seen it there. Now he sees it.
Now he's like, oh,
He's
hey.
like, ha, ha, ha. I'm so sneaky.
Oh,
Okay,
wait,
Hurricane will see it.
wait. Got it. Hurricane wins. He wins the Scouting Olympics.
Does he
First
win
one.
though? There's a
No.
starport, like a stone's
Done.
throw from his base.
There's a medevac here. Look at the medevac. Has to go back and pick these dudes up and then
It's
go.
actually a double cyclone drop, so
Oh,
not
that's
Hellions or anything like that. How's Hurricane gonna react? Warping in some more stalkers. He's got
Sure.
5 stalkers. I mean, if they get caught by these cyclones, it'll be rough. Like if 1 or 2 of them, and he's split them very nicely, but very nicely for cyclones to pick off.
Yeah, I'd like to see the stalkers just on the right side here. There we go. They know it's coming. If
Yeah,
you can
like
pick
you
up the
saw
medevac
the
before it
starport.
unloads, that's beautiful. Here it is. Come
Oh,
on
very
in, he
nicely
says.
done
Send
by,
the spider to the
by
fly.
Hurricane. He's not dying a no proxy just yet this game.
Fantastic.
And FanTaSy's CC is a little bit late, so
All right, Hurricane, we got this. We believe
yeah, we'll
in you.
see. But then again, there is 4 Hellions out on the map, and we all know how it went in game number 1. But he's got stalkers nicely in position, a beautiful spread. But we'll see. Is FanTaSy just going to dive on in? I mean, he's going for it. He turns around, and a Phoenix is actually out. Oh, that's a little rough if he loses that. He keeps it alive.
Phoenix gets out. Hoorah. Hellions just kind of hanging out here.
Oh, the stalkers are moving out. Oh
Okay.
no. Okay.
Oh.
Changing path.
They're just...
Oh, the stalkers are going to see these Hellions. Very
Man, that
nicely
reaction
done.
time was so nice by FanTaSy.
Oh, and the Phoenix
Get out.
maybe can pick them up. We'll see. Looks like Hurricane's
trying
trying
to
to
head 'em
intercept
off.
them. He wants them.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's actually going to find them. Oh, yeah, look at that. He's going to get one of them. Nicely done. Not
Now
having
the
these out on the
Phoenix are
map
coming
is going to
back
allow him
around.
to
Lift,
just
lift,
breathe.
lift.
Oh, and look at this. Beautiful.
Oh, fantastic by Hurricane. What a pickup. Free
Yeah, that
Hellions.
is so nice. Those Hellions,
Getting
like,
nothing done.
if Hellions die for Terran, they want to die diving onto a probe line, not out on the map caught by Phoenix.
Yeah, doing absolutely nothing to the Protoss army.
Okay, look at this. This has gone into a fairly normal game, but I think Hurricane's doing pretty well. Assuming he doesn't take any more damage, he's getting up a Robo, getting up a Nexus, Twilight, Forge, so he's a happy macro Protoss. He made it.
Huzzah! He feels so
I
much
feel
more
it.
comfortable now.
I feel as if Protoss just celebrate every time they make it past like the 6-minute mark. They're like, yes, I haven't died to proxies yet.
Major victory. Oh boy. All right. So where's our third base from FanTaSy? I'm looking around here. There it is. Third CC here is inside the main base. Just using it to make SCVs and throw down mules thus far, though. Really doesn't seem interested in landing it
Yeah,
anywhere, which
his
I feel
stim
like
is
he's
a ways off, but
oversaturated.
he's floating over now.
Okay, it's time.
He's got a
It's time.
decent number
Let's
of
go.
tanks, but the Phoenix are there. They'll actually see this.
Mm-hmm. Take some lock-on shots, but no big deal. Observer, get the heck out of there. Setting up an observer mode.
Okay,
And
but yeah.
Charge is about 50% complete, too. Charge is really nice in the situation.
Oh, it is for sure. Versus low numbers, and he's also getting up a Warp Prism, and Zealot harassment is pretty good. But yeah, I'm a big fan of charge play. I mean, sometimes it can look so strong. Sometimes Zealots can admittedly look a little weak, depending on how the Terran if the Terran forces the fight. But if the Protoss can take the fight they want, Zealots are just so good at closing the gap on a Terran army.
Yes. Goodbye, Observer. It was nice knowing you.
Rest in peace.
Thanks for being around. That's right. Rip in peace. Temple Archives on the way from Hurricane. Get some Storm, some Archons. I really love to see that against Terran. And there we go. Charge is wrapping up now. Stim just about done here too. Combat Shield finishing. Upgrades
look
all
at
over
this,
the
though.
place.
I'm a little bit worried for this move out for Hurricane, but this is a good number of Zealots. Army supply, FanTaSy's got a pretty good army. It's definitely a kiting army, so it can kite these Zealots to an extent. The Phoenix will help out, but look at this. He actually just bypasses the army of FanTaSy, and these tanks are actually pretty exposed. Good lifts from Hurricane.
Great lift.
Okay.
All right. tank getting focused down here. It does end up falling, trying to get some parting shots on that third base, but also being chased by a very angry stimmed army.
The force fields are beautiful.
The force fields, though, very nicely done. Zealots evaporating fairly nicely there, too. Guardian's shield is uplifting the tank in the back, so it can't really help here. Sentries lending their DPS to the party.
Hurricane, the Micra lifting up the Archons.
Few Marauders. Archon sitting at the back, just having a great time against this bio.
23 SCVs.
And so reinforcements are coming in. Defender's advantage kicking in for FanTaSy, kiting as best as he possibly can here. But he lost 24 SCVs in that battle. His third base is a graveyard, and warping an additional Zealots is Hurricane.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, the Zealot's very good for reinforcing into this fight. FanTaSy, I mean, Hurricane doesn't want to overcommit here and lose his army. But so far, we'll see. Maybe he is going to push it further. And we'll see. He's looking at the army right now with that observer, and he sees there's just one tank. He's going to have 2 Archons, and he still has the Phoenix, so he can always lift. But he is going to go home and send the Warp Prism in for harassment, it looks like. I
like this very, very much. Is he going to do it is the question. He's primed to, but he's not interested in actually going out. Throwing up a 4th base while FanTaSy has to reestablish his 3rd. It's 65 to 45 Harvesters. Robotics Bay completing here for Hurricane too, so possibly more Disruptor, but as you said,
look,
Colossus. Oh, it is Disruptor, even though he's not necessarily behind here. Warp Prism moving into the main.
Yeah, I guess FanTaSy just likes these disruptors. FanTaSy is actually reacting to this drop by picking up his own units. Zealot's getting some good damage done there. Also keeping FanTaSy back at home, because if Hurricane does have to worry about one thing, it may be a tank push or something like that, because FanTaSy does still have a very strong army, despite taking economic damage.
Yeah, counterattack would be pretty devastating here for Hurricane. So sacrificing a couple Zealots to make sure that FanTaSy stays over on this side of the map is definitely worth it for him. So 3rd base established actually to the south of his natural. 4th base warping in quite nicely here from Hurricane. Storm is just about complete. I'm loving that. And then continuing to get upgrades. +2 armor, +1 ground attack. Yeah, Hurricane in a great position.
Yeah, the AoE in this army is actually so massive for Hurricane. Disruptors and Storm. How is FanTaSy going to engage? As Disruption Novas go out, get good connections there, and fantastic Psy Storms there. I mean, the Templar get focused down, and Hurricane's pulling back to buy time, which is a very mature decision. But, I mean, this army, it's very bruised now.
It is. Those Marauders are not healthy.
A
lot of yellow, a lot of red.
Player. Disruption Nova goes out, forces this army back.
Zealot's gone. Focus down first.
Let's see. Hurricane needs to respect this.
Mostly Stalker. Yeah.
He's going to have out another Nova in a second here. Oh, this army's pursuing. There'll be a Nova. Oh, it gets focused down, though. Oh, this is actually looking kind of scary now. FanTaSy's army, I mean, it's very stimmed, but he's done a good job microing so far in this series. Oh, that was a pretty healthy Nova hit, though.
Yes, these Nova hits have been fantastic.
Oh, good focus down, though, picking that off. And FanTaSy has a big stream of reinforcements coming across the map now.
Oh, this is looking really tenuous for Hurricane. These guys do have the +2 attack and +1 infantry armor. They don't have the +2 armor, but the Marauder count is so healthy. Another tank's showing up here as well. The Archon not taking bonus damage from anybody here.
We'll see. There's one more Disruption Nova that's primed and ready. Hurricane just churning these out. Really so useful for zoning out this Terran army, but I think FanTaSy can do math, and he counted 2 Novas, and now they're all gone. 1 more recharges, but there's not too much of a Zealot buffer for Hurricane. It looks like his army may be wearing thin. He's got so much workers. He's got such a good economy, but his Stalker's getting caught and everything else dying now.
He's picking off some reinforcements across the map that FanTaSy's trying to get to these front lines, which is a pretty nice move.
Oh, that's a nice Zealot counterattack, but that Zealot Warpin did not help him out defending back at home. He's going to lose this Nexus. A Purification Nova can go out. Or are these all on cooldown? Oh, they are on cooldown. And
another Disruptor on the way. He's abandoned his 4th base entirely here. Zealot's putting in work, yo.
They are. Oh, the Stalkers came from behind it. I guess they got the tanks.
Nice. Picking off the tanks is a big deal, but again, I think the Marauders are probably the bigger concern here.
But look at the army supply, though. I mean, Hurricane's still on the much better economy right now. The Zealot counterattack's done massive work.
Yep. Zealot's finally cleaned up there. No more blue up in that top right-hand corner.
Hurricane can hang on, and he is. I mean, even if he loses the Nexus, dare I say, his situation isn't dire. But he's blinking these stalkers back. A Zealot run by is coming on in, or a Zealot attack. Oh, and the surround with more Zealots.
Sandwich.
Look at that. FanTaSy, I mean, he's got a higher army supply, but so much of it's in Medivacs.
That is, yeah, that's, what are we looking at? 7 Marines, 11 Marauders. That's our composition right now from FanTaSy.
Personal healing for a lot of those units there. But Hurricane, he's rebuilding this Nexus, getting out more and more Disruptors. FanTaSy looking for a drop into the main base is a very nice play here. We'll see. Oh, is Hurricane sniffing this out? He may be. Oh, I think he might have seen that with that Observer, maybe. Oh, a Zealot. He's going to see it. And there's a Phoenix there. Can he blink? Can he pick off any of the Medivacs? He doesn't get one, and now he's going to unload in the main. Oh, man.
One.
There's
yeah,
the
this
one.
Is a pretty scary
okay, a
army.
recall went down, which is a very mature decision. Now Stalker's engaging on top of this army. Purification. Oh, man, the Medivac survives once again. But there's High Templar here now. And they are primed and ready with Storm, but they're getting a little bit too far forward.
Guys,
Hurricane not paying attention, gets the Storm off.
Okay, not bad.
But no, a Disruptor gets picked off as well. And now Hurricane down on supply. Those were some pretty critical losses, losing those Templar. He's got to
cancel. Uh-oh. He probably should have canceled there.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of Stalkers here, but that's about it. He's engaging into Liberators and tanks now. I mean, there's not too many Disruption Novas. There's more High Templar coming forward. They've got Storms, but now once again they get focused down. GG gets called. FanTaSy takes the 3-0.
Oh, FanTaSy.
Oh,
Hurricane,
man.
you had it.
He did. He had that one. I don't think we can argue against that. But
no, I really feel like losing those High Templar that came out really overextended too, really unprotected. And sure, a couple Storms got off, but on Marauders, it didn't kill him. And then suddenly no more High Templar. And that was really brutal to try to hold that without Storm.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was pretty rough there for Hurricane, but he definitely did have that game at some point. I mean, we don't like to say, like, because a game's never won until it's won, but he was in a pretty good situation there. But then FanTaSy, with that army, he just made it happen. And he did a good job not eating, like, any major Disruptor hits or anything like that. And he just kept on trucking.
Worked out. Worked out quite nicely.
All right, but that's actually it for the TvP marathon of the day. But, yeah. So thanks to everyone for tuning on in today. I mean, you'll see all those links in the announcement there. You can follow Falcon, Paladin, and I everywhere else. There's also the bracket there, because there will be more StarCraft 2 tomorrow. It's going to be the round of 4 in the finals. The first round of 4 match will be Keen versus Haas, which will be an exciting one. And then we'll have the TVT of FanTaSy versus Cure, which I think is actually going to be pretty close. I've seen them play some TVPs or TVTs, and FanTaSy is looking pretty decent in the matchup. So it will be an exciting match to watch, and thanks to everyone for tuning on in today.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, everybody who was here. Really enjoyed my time here on Afreeca today. Going to be here again tomorrow, as LaughNgamez said, so be sure to tune in.
Alrighty, yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.